Come on in, guys, and welcome to the Unofficial Survivor After Show here at theStream.tv. Join in on the conversation. Subscribe to theStream.tv. I am your host, Jeff Probst, and today I am joined by three-time Survivor contestant Jerri Manthey with her Survivor hat.
Yeah, and I didn't shower either, put any makeup on just so, you know, Justin could get the full effect of what I'm like on Survivor.
I have been wondering what that smell is all night, Jerri. But when I walked in, I saw you in your hat. I was like, that is classic Jerri. Happy Halloween. We are dressed up in Survivor costumes. That's actually her real Survivor get-up. And here I am as Jeff Probst. Jeff Probst, I love you. One of my idols, one of my heroes.
Aww.
And as you know, I'm here in Jeff Probst attire for Halloween. Tonight was a freaking amazing episode. One of the best of the season. We had so much going on, starting off right away with Terry being taken out of the game because his son
oh my gosh, that was
intense. So intense.
Yeah.
And we found out at the end of the episode it was his son had to have a heart transplant and is doing fine now. Thankfully, he's doing fine. Could you imagine, this has never happened in Survivor, where someone's actually gotten taken out of the game because their wife and the doctor said get home because your son or child is in a health condition?
No, you know, there's been a couple times on Survivor when I was there when things got really real, and you start to really appreciate the fact that even though you're playing a game, there's this real world that's going on the outside. You know, your family and people you care about. And it's almost kind of surreal when something scary happens like that, you know, that you're so far away and so far removed and so into the game, like you don't think about your family and serious stuff. And then all of a sudden life just takes over.
It's so sad. I mean, everybody, Terry has so many fans and people rooting for him to get that second chance, and he'll definitely get a third.
He's going to come back. Terry's going to get back
you know,
on.
And then, but we see, you know, Jeff Probst talks to all the parents. You know, we have Cass narrating the whole thing in tears the night of. We have Sierra crying, Kelly Wigglesworth crying, Kimmy tearing up, Andrew Savage. All of these people who are parents out there totally understand and agree. If that were my child, I would be at the airport immediately. There's no question about it. Get there, and, you know, Terry obviously did the right thing.
Of course, yeah. There's no doubt in your mind. You know, if it's your family member and it's that serious that Jeff is going to wake you up in the middle of the night, which is a huge thing, there is no other option. Get your stuff and go as fast as you can.
Well, Terry, we're sad that you got taken out of the game in those circumstances. We're happy that your son is doing okay. And my prediction is you two might be on the Amazing Race in a future season. That's my prediction.
Oh.
We will see if it happens.
Or maybe a blood versus water. Who knows?
Blood versus water 3. We shall see. All right, so getting into the episode right away when everybody, you know, after the Terry moment, drop your buffs again. We are switching from 3 tribes down to 2.
Yeah.
A random swap where they drew buffs and went back to Takeo and Bayan. The divide there, I was like trying to take notes on who was on what tribe, but basically Bayan has all original Bayan, but Kelly Wentworth. And then Takeo had 3 original first-time Bayan members with 4 original Takeo members. And it just seems like obviously Bayan's in control, but that obviously got people into some trouble later on in the episode. But
never assume you're in control, Savage. Or get cocky, Savage. Or think you know exactly what's going on, Savage. I mean,
what I found interesting about Savage was the first time we had a swap, he was whining and complaining that the first time in his Survivor Pro Lions experience, he got, you know, screwed because of a swap. Then this time he was whining because he got on Angkor without a beach that had a shelter. But then this time when the swap worked in his favor, he was so excited and happy and, you know, this worked in my favor and I'm in charge and I'm running everything and I got all these numbers and lines. This is my game to win. And, you know, it's kind of like very cocky this episode.
The whole internet's blowing up about how cocky he was in this episode. And I know you're not very appreciative of that either.
That. I loved him. I liked him originally in Pearl Islands, but this season he has had that kind of cocky attitude where I think once you get cocky in Survivor, you know, watch out. You're going to probably go home soon.
You think maybe what Jeff Varner said about him kind of like rubbed off on you a little bit?
I don't know. But it was interesting. I mean, throughout the episode, he was so cocky and happy, and it didn't work in his favor. And strategically,
it was great.
It didn't work in his favor. Let's talk about that because his main strategy was once they lost the immunity challenge was, or even before that, Sierra, me, you, and Cass are going to stick together, and I also have Wu and Abby. We're so tight from our Angkor experience, but we're going to tell Spencer to vote Sierra, and she was not having it. Do you blame Sierra? What is your take on Sierra?
I love to see Sierra. She was like, why me? And that you could tell in her body language, even though she was like, okay, sure, whatever, you could tell she was not happy having her name put on the chopping block for any reason whatsoever. And I think that kind of sparked the anti-Savage discussions that took place afterwards. And I don't know, I think we're very close to seeing the end of Savage.
Well, it's also interesting, too, Savage comes in saying, Woo, Abby and I are so tight. Have you not seen Woo and Abby this entire time? Abby would flip on Woo in a second, which is basically...
She'll flip on anybody. She's all about self-survival, which is great. I'm actually happy to see her do it.
Tonight, we did not see her once. She didn't cause any ruckus. She's going to go deep into this game.
Yeah, I think so, too.
But it was, you know, then you have Sierra and Cass going to Abby and saying we could go after Woo. Why wouldn't Savage, if you think Savage would have said to Cass and Sierra, let's use Woo as the scapegoat, do you think Sierra would have still wanted to get Woo out of the game?
Wow, that's a good question. I don't know. I mean, I think she would have been more happy and probably not created any conversation against Savage if they had said Woo instead. Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting to see that his attitude led to Woo's demise, whereas Woo, once Woo, you know, here we go, we're in episode number 6.
Oh,
and Woo, bye Woo, but, you know, I mean, blindsided tonight.
You could see that coming. It was like a whole setup at the very beginning when he was talking about how he felt so comfortable, and it was nice to be told and know what's going on.
Yeah.
And yeah, we were like, oh, bye, Woo.
Woo. What do you make of, you know, right away when the tribe swapped, we had Cass already calling out Spencer that she had to, oh, great, I have to work with Spencer. And there's the whole narrative of Cass saying she didn't want to work with Spencer. She wanted him gone. Andrew Savage put him on a platter. And then she took him on the beach and she opened up the door and said, this is what's really going on. Savage, who you look at as a dad, he's really trying to get you voted off. Stick with me. Chaos Cass is going to return and open the door for Spencer.
Yeah, I was really afraid that she was going to let the past influence her present choices, but I was really happy to see that she realized Spencer's, you know, use. And whether they continue that relationship, we'll see. But it was so awesome to see the two of them work together tonight and her to kind of forgive him and him forgive her for their past season together.
And it was all Chaos Cass versus Calm Cass. I think Calm Cass would have gone with the flow of let's vote off what Andrew Savage wants us to do, get rid of Spencer, keep that alliance with Andrew Savage strong. But Chaos Cass returned. Can we just give her, you know,
yeah, you love Chaos Cass.
I love a little Chaos Cass, and it looks like in the preview next week she's coming back with vengeance and drawing some lines, and we're going to get some more chaos. But I really think that she's still going to go deep in this game. I don't think she'll be picked off right away at the merge, which is already next
it's clear.
week.
Chaos Cass is in control again, which is great to see. I'm so happy that she's kind of bounced back and. I mean, I like this season that we've gotten to see the softer sides of her as well. It made me feel like I was allowed to like her better, you know, instead of just all the aggressive, sometimes mean behaviors that she had the last time she played.
Yeah.
I love seeing the dynamics of her two sides.
I think part of that comes from when you're on a tribe that wins a lot, you get to be and show that softer side, and when you're on a tribe that is losing and forced to go to tribal, you have to, you know, tap into that inner demon.
The brains lost a lot.
You know, the brains lost so much, and they started off right up there, so we saw that aggressive player. Where now that she's going to be going to tribal, this was the first time she went to tribal so far this season, but now that she's going to be going to tribal, I think we're going to get to see more of that aggressive player. And another brain that's kind of, in my opinion, playing an aggressive game, and I think is going to play an aggressive game at the merge, is Tasha. Tasha. Watching her in that immunity challenge, she is out to win.
She was ferocious swallowing that nasty food that she had to eat. I've never seen anyone get so excited after swallowing, what was it, like a scorpion or something?
Yeah.
Ugh. Those eating challenges, by the way, are absolutely disgusting. I mean, there is nothing easy about the stuff that they give you to eat.
What did you have to, when you were in the Outback, what did you have to eat? What was your, I can't remember.
It was, I think it was called some kind of mud grub thing or something. It was like a long, like an oyster that was like this big around, and it had like a chunk of something crunchy and hard inside of it and a tail about that long. So like I picked it up and I was like, oh man, it took everything I had to eat that thing, but I did.
So with the immunity challenge, we had Kimmy, your Australian Outback old schooler. She didn't even touch the pig brain against Woo. Woo did finish it really quickly, but Are you upset that Kimmy didn't even go for it? You know, she said, I haven't eaten pig in 30 years.
No, I'm upset that they gave her that to eat. It was almost like too much of a setup for me to really believe that it was accidentally, like, you know, on purpose is what it was. Just to see Kimmy the vegetarian, to see has she changed in her second chances. She's still a vegetarian, for God's sake. She's not going to eat it. Doesn't matter if it's your second chance. So, I mean, I would have liked to have seen her try, but I understand her because I've had so many conversations with her about the original cow brain.
What was interesting for me in the immunity challenge with the gross food, that is a classic Survivor challenge. I think I would be terrible at it, but I would try my best. Is we didn't get to see why people were going up against people, why people were paired with people. Because at first they did a couple rounds of duos, and you had to finish with your partner, and then they did rounds that were single, and it didn't make sense why people were going. Were they random? Were they selected? Did they get to pick? I would have liked to have just known, like, by random draw or by what we decide.
Picking out of a bucket, calling out a name, like, something,
What was the order they were picked, and why was it 2 people versus 1 person? It didn't kind of translate for me.
Because Jeremy, on his way out of the challenge, turned around and grabbed that nasty, what is it, baloob? The embryo egg thing, and he's like, I'm not going to eat in probably 2 more weeks. So he like shoves it in his mouth, and I'm thinking, clearly that guy can eat anything, because if you can eat that thing, oh my gosh. Yeah. So we didn't see Jeremy.
We saw him eat. He and Keith won their round. We saw him once. Okay. But then why did people like Kimmy and Sierra? You know, was it random? I don't know. You know.
Yeah, we want to know.
We want to know. If anyone out there knows how they decided who was eating when, write some comments and let us know.
It would have to be the crew, I think.
Yeah, current crew.
I know they signed a confidentiality agreement. We're never going to know, Justin. We just have to let it go.
Ever know. So that was the immunity challenge. You know, Sierra and Cass for Takeo, they were the last 2 to go, so they lost it. They didn't really lose it for their tribe, but they lost it. And both of them were crying and tearing up, that softer side of those ladies, and it didn't matter. They were in control of the vote when it got down to it. Yeah. But reward challenge, we saw an immunity challenge that you have done. We've seen a reward challenge tonight that you have done. Yeah. So you were talking about the inner workings
of the slip and slide
and the oil. You did that in Heroes and Villains.
That was amazing. Like when we did that challenge, we were all looking at each other going, this is going to be so awesome. It's like an adult-sized slip and slide with oil, which I know why they do that, because when you get oiled up and you're wearing your swimsuit, you haven't eaten in like 3 weeks, you're like your abs are all tight and everything, and everybody looks sexy when they're covered in Crisco oil. I mean,
so we need to do this show covered in Crisco oil. Is that what we need to do next week?
That would be a great Halloween costume. No.
But is it challenging to slide like that when you're covered in that?
Well, it hurts a little bit because, like when you're a girl, your hip bones are kind of poking out from all the weight you've lost, and you just hit the ground running, but the adrenaline is just going so fast. It was, when I did it, it was so much fun. I had such a blast, but that oil does not come out for a long time. It gets your skin nice and soft though, which, you got to give it credit for that.
Got to give some credit for that. Well, we're going to take a quick break to listen to theStream.tv, hear some of your tweets out there, and then we're going to dive into strategy of this episode. A lot of strategy, so stick around.
Just in case you missed it live.
In case you missed it live.
In case you missed it live.
In case you missed it live, this is for you.
I love it. That was freaking oh my God.
I didn't see any of this coming. Yeah, I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah,
I was like,
did you get here? No.
Kill him. Kill him. Definitely kill him. We're cool.
Shade. Shade left and right, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies, let's put your 2 cents in it.
Rubbed me the wrong way and the right way.
But you were like, well, we want to know what's going to happen.
That was cute.
We just want to say we love you all. Thank you so much for your support. You are all seriously the best in the world.
Another beautiful summer at theStream.tv.
Here we go, guys.
Thank you for being here. Peace out.
Bye, guys.
Welcome back to the Unofficial Survivor After Show here at theStream.tv. Jerri's got some tweets that she pulled throughout the episode. Let's hear them, Jerri.
Oh my gosh. All right, the first one is by Timaru. I'm not going anywhere. Those are words you never want to say in Survivor.
Andrew
So
Savage
true.
said that.
At Twiley Carr, reward competition might need to be for Xanax. I think that has to do with all the crying that happened this episode. Everybody's depressed. At Reclaim Philly, sometimes Survivor is just disgusting. Yeah, I agree. Totally agree. Sweet on the lips. Of effing course. Of course they tried to make Kimmy eat the animal brain.
See, that's what you said too.
And TV Lois, I guess I'm bunking with the devil tonight, which was what Spencer said when he realized he was going to play with Cass.
Spencer.
And I have one more by Chia Estevez. So it officially took Cass one tribal to bring the chaos back. I told you so.
And I applaud that. I love me some Chaos Cass. So strategy this episode with so many tribes. I love that we went from 2 tribes to 3 tribes to 2 tribes because every tribe has so many different inner workings of original tribes, second tribes, third tribes, all these kind of different dynamics.
They really mixed it up this season.
Great. I love that. Keeps people on their toes, and it's less likely for a pagonging like in season 1 and past seasons we've seen. So before we talk more about Takeo, Bayan, they won immunity, so they didn't have to go, but we did get to see some strategy going on. First thing we saw was Joe and Kelly Wentworth. Kelly Wentworth is the only one from the original Takeo on a tribe with 6 other original Bayan members. So clearly the thinking would be she's out. But Joe says, Kelly, I want to stick with you, and goes to Tasha and basically says, why don't we go after someone else before we go after Kelly? And they didn't really like it. Stephen Fishback and Tasha did not like it. Smart or bad move on Joe's part?
I don't know. I actually missed that part. The volume went up on our TV. I totally missed that whole thing. All I know.
So basically, Joe went to Tasha and Stephen Fishback and
right,
said,
all I know is Stephen ended up having this total meltdown and crying, and he's just so passionate about playing a second time around, and I love to see that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, and the reason why he was crying was because he wants to go after Joe.
Right.
Joe has already shown he's not going to possibly stay loyal to original Bayan. He wanted to maybe get Kimmy out and keep Kelly Wentworth.
He wants Joe out.
So he wants Joe out because he even said, "This is my second chance. I don't," and that's when he started tearing up, and I felt really bad for him. But he was saying, "I don't want to let the Golden Boy beat me again." JT his first season beat him, so he doesn't want Joe to start running the show. And he said, "This is an opportunity for us to take out the Golden Boy." I almost said Malcolm 2.0. But Joe, Joe's going to be a huge threat at the merge.
Oh, yeah, and if they get Joe out now, Steven will have proven that he is definitely in this to win it. Because I think he's kind of been really in the background, and he's scrawny, and he doesn't do good in challenges, and I think he's getting very emotional, obviously, just with everything that's going on. So maybe we are going to see Fishback come back.
The Fishback comeback, will it happen? But so Steven approached, his alliance and ally Jeremy, saying, we need to take out Joe, and he was kind of like putting the brakes on it because he wants to stick with...
He said, you're bugging. That's what he said.
You're bugging. But smart strategy, the longer Joe's in the game, the less of a threat Jeremy is. I
love that Jeremy thinks like 2 to 3 steps ahead. He's such a smart player, and I think he's definitely going to be around for a long time, I hope, because I love Jeremy. And we also got the setup at the beginning of the season that his wife is pregnant, and he really could use the money. So,
Jerri, are you saying that you might think Jeremy might be the winner this season?
I think Jeremy goes a long way.
I give Kelly Wentworth credit. I mean, she was smart to kind of lay low and just say, if Joe's going to, protect me, I'm going to go on that Joe train. And guess what? I would predict that if Joe does protect her, and it's going to be a merge next week, so it doesn't matter as much. But when she needs to, she will put the knife in his back if she has to.
I think that's one thing with these second chance people is that they're all loyal to a point when they know that they can't be anymore. And they're willing to make the big moves because they know now that's how you win the game of Survivor. You have to prove that you're willing to do risky things and get rid of powerful people. soon as you possibly can.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm seeing as this season goes on. That's what makes it so interesting to me, is that the level of play and the skill of which people are playing the game is so high.
It's so good.
I love it.
It's so good too, because when your #1 ally and your #1 priority is yourself and getting you to the end, that's how all these players are trying to play, compared to people who go in the game and don't play that way. We get this higher level of strategy, higher level of gameplay, and the fact that we're merging next week with 13 players, it is going to be a crazy run to the finish.
It's going to be a bloodbath, and I can't wait.
This is going to turn into Game of Thrones.
Oh my God.
I don't even watch Game of Thrones,
and
but
the snow and the clothing. Yeah, to be just like Game of Thrones.
So, you know, back at Takeo, they lost. Obviously, Wu got blindsided. I'm going to be interested to see Andrew Savage's reaction next week. And here's the thing that's interesting. Kelly Wigglesworth, she's just going around getting dragged along for the ride.
I know.
The last couple rounds, she's just kind of, everyone loves her to watch her because she's OG, but she is clueless. In every interview, I've been reading exit interviews, everyone is saying Kelly has no game, no game, no game, no game. That could make her end up in the finals or towards the end, but it's kind of, I hope Kelly Wigglesworth maybe strategizes a little bit.
Well, I hope we get to appreciate and see her a little bit more.
Yeah.
You know, maybe that is her strategy. Maybe she went into this just like, I am going to fly so low under the radar that everyone thinks I have no clue.
And with all these players, it's working.
If that's what she's doing, it's working.
Yeah.
You know, she said maybe 2 words the whole entire season so far.
Agreed. So. It's going to be interesting with the merge to see if Cass's decision to keep Spencer over Wu will pay off or not. Because in my opinion, Spencer's more of a strategic threat.
Oh, for sure.
Wu will not be rallying people and trying to go after Cass.
No.
Where Spencer, like that next week, we could see him turning on Cass.
Can I just say, for the record, I absolutely love Spencer.
Oh.
I mean, the more I see him play this game, I'm so glad he's gotten to stay in so long. He's dodged so many bullets.
Again, it's like he's reliving his first chance.
He's like a cat. He's got 9 lives. I think at this point he still has like maybe 6 left. So I don't know. I think Spencer and Jeremy are both going to go really far in this game. And they did have kind of a little relationship going on there for a while.
All right.
So that's my prediction.
Let us know what you guys think. Write some comments here on YouTube. Subscribe to theStream.tv. And as always, we want to thank all the websites who are posting our show. And
Get out the list, Justin.
I got the list because we have so many that love it.
So many.
Reality Blurred, Andy wasn't here tonight. We missed having his input. He'll be back next week. Survivor Fandom, all about the T.com, MortysTV.com, TVFanforums.net, Survivor Digest. All of them do Survivor recaps. They do great stuff. So if you look at our description, the links to those sites are there. Definitely check them out. Thank you guys for posting our show. And we want to wish you a happy Halloween. And Jerry, I think you should get your torch.
Hold on a second. No,
you should get your torch.
No, I got to do something here real quick.
I'm Jeff Probst.
Yes, I know. And Jeff Probst, I'm going to snuff your torch.
Oh, really? The tribe has spoken. Happy Halloween, everyone.
I wanted to do that forever.